Hello guys and welcome back. Today I'm going over a theory posted to giantbomb.com by the user Oct1s. Link if you want to check out the theory for yourself down in the description below, but with that let's get right into it. Okay, so this theory has to do with Lynchwood and the whole area and why it doesn't have any story missions connected to it and all the weird scaling that goes on there and everything like that. I'm gonna just read what Ones posted. So he says, quote, "While on playthrough 2.5, the level cap, doing side missions in Lynchwood, a thought popped into my head. Most of the game is linear, where you travel from one area to another. There is this whole other area which is completely different and has its own story. I'm thinking that this area was originally slated to be DLC, then the developers decided to incorporate it into the game. Possible support for this is in fact, no quest givers in Sanctuary refer you to the area, and you have to go there to receive any of the quests, minus the Bane. Also, the relationship between the Sheriff and Brick could have been played up a bit, but you don't learn of it until you're actually there. Could there be any truth to this, or am I just thinking too much into it?" Okay, so after reading this, I actually got really interested because if you do know Borderlands at all, you will know they have done similar actions to this before, like in the Torque DLC. Motor Mama was slated to be the raid boss in that expansion, but they decided to remove her, but all the ammo crates and little enemies are all still in there just to keep it consolidated. So it wouldn't be crazy for Gearbox to do this. Also, another comment says, "I was just recently thinking how weirdly disconnected the Lynchwood area is from the rest of the game. Like you said, maybe it was originally planned as DLC, but whatever reason decided to keep it in there and then put it in some sheriff lady who just so happens to be Handsome Jack's girlfriend, so it looks like it's still kind of part of the main thread." So some people just posted off as Lynchwood does feel a little bit off, but they just figured it was Borderlands being Borderlands. And actually this question has circulated a lot because it is one of the few areas that there are no main quests in the game, but the area does have a lot of backstory. You learn a lot about Brick and his backstory with Nisha, the Sheriff of Lynchwood. You get a lot of other information just about Jack himself, the bank. There's Dukino's mom, which basically is a really nice side boss that drops her own legendaries. You can get the Madhouse in there. Basically, there are a lot of legendaries that were all in this area, a lot of farmable bosses, and it's a pretty large area. It's considering other maps and all it has to offer. And then another Redditor says, "Hello all, the question has been bothering me for a while now. I've always found Lynchwood very weird. For starter, it's one of the few areas not part of the main quest, which is true. But more importantly, it feels like it's out of the Borderlands world. It can only be accessed by train, and I never saw any mention of it anywhere else. It's like a town that has been added at some point in the game, but isn't fully a part of it. And what's more, it's quite huge and detailed, so it feels to me like it could have a much greater importance in the Borderlands world. Anyone else has wondered about this, or am I missing something?" Also, why the scaling is another thing about it is, this area, Lynchwood, is one of the few areas that will scale to you always, depending on the playthrough you're in, which doesn't really happen in a lot of the areas, especially if you're playing normal Vault Hunter mode or true Vault Hunter mode, where usually enemies are capped. Yeah, so that's basically it. The comment that I think I have to agree with the most says, "But if I remember right, no story missions occurring there despite some of Jack's dialogue being triggered in it. Which is strange when you consider how large the area is. It seems like a lot of work for stuff you wouldn't necessarily see. So rather than a DLC that was integrated back in the box product, I just assumed Gearbox had larger plans for it and didn't necessarily have time to implement them." Which I think is most likely the case. I do think Lynchwood is a huge and weird area, and they probably did want to add a lot more to it just to bulk it up or make it a bigger part of the story. But we'll never know. Or maybe it just was a big area that they just wanted to have fun with and add Jack's girlfriend in. And that's just one of the many mysteries of the world that we will never know. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you think that Lynchwood was supposed to be either a bigger area than what Gearbox planned, a DLC, or you just think Gearbox created it the way they liked it? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.